Welcome all. This is a special episode of Trailer Watch. It is not special, actually. It's pretty standard. But it's special because I haven't done a Trailer Watch in a while. None of us have here on ZeroHp. I don't know if it's just because we haven't been pumped about anything for a while or just haven't done it. Beats me. But here we are with a brand new trailer for Total War Thrones of Britannia. Now, for those of you who haven't been paying as much attention recently to how Total War and Creative Assembly are approaching historical entries, basically, if you saw any of my coverage for Empire Divided, which was minimal, to be fair, they're taking some of the older games and building games off of them. So Empire Divided was simply a DLC. It was like $16 for a specific campaign and a slightly altered map. And, new scenarios, units, that kind of a thing. So that was a DLC campaign. This is what they're classifying as a saga. So basically there's going to be more similar to this later on. This is the first of however many sagas Creative Assembly is going to create. No pun intended there. This is the first actual gameplay footage we're going to see for Total War Thrones of Britannia. Now, the Thrones of Britannia takes place during the late 9th century, during the epic struggle between the Danes, or Vikings, as many know them, and the Saxons, who were at the time the natives, not the original natives, of course, but at the time the dominant culture in modern-day England, and it takes place pretty late in that fight. The Danes had settled most of England, conquered most of England, so that's kind of the setup. This trailer is sort of about Alfred the Great, who is considered kind of the founder of England. Prior to this, England was divided up into little kingdoms, and they were kind of their own places and their own nations with all their own kings and all that. So Alfred was sort of the great uniter and really sort of the founder of a lot of the institutions that would go to create England. So that's why he's important, and that's why they're making a trailer about him, because you're going to be able to play as him and his kingdom of Wessex, who was the final kingdom to never fall, to stand up against the Vikings, and eventually to attempt to kick them out. So this is the trailer. Let's check it out, and we'll stop it every now and then for impressions.
I have been patient, Lord. I abide the presence of heathens, so there might be peace. And oaths were broken. I forgave. I even lined their pockets, but the Danes will not be sated. Enough! Patience is not thy will. It is the kingdom of Wessex! And my divine rule.
Alright. So, first thing, the music is so good. Oh man, I really enjoy the music, which is a huge part of Total War. You play Total War for hours upon hours, and all you do is listen to the music, and if it's not good, man, it is a drag. So the music is beautiful. Let's go back. I actually have some pretty big issues with this so far, but there are some positives. Positives being, this game looks great. Now, it does look a lot like Attila. which they're using the engine, or well, they're all the same engine actually for the last several entries, but they're using they're reusing a lot of the same content that makes up Attila, the artwork and a lot of the units and different things like that. So map, it looks like the whatever they used to build the map is very similar. So there are positives and negatives to that. It was a pretty game, and it played a lot better than Rome 2. And it looked a lot better than Rome 2. So the individual models, all the assets in general that are reused, obviously they're touched up. They look great. They always look great. They do such a good job of details, all these on these guys. The field looks all right. I mean, obviously we're a little spoiled with Warhammer. The maps are so over the top and beautiful there, especially Warhammer 2 had fantastic maps. But this is cool to see. So they're going in. There's the Saxons. And this is actually kind of the problem I have. Now, this is just a trailer, so we won't go too far. But my problem with this is that, I'm hoping, sure, we're reusing assets from Attila, but the whole concept of battle for both the Saxons and the Vikings were shield walls, more so even than the Romans. I mean, we think of Romans as the lined up with the big tower shields, and sure, the thing with the Roman legions is they were very flexible, right? So they didn't link shields up and marches. They could use the testudo and all that, but most of the time, they would create just a loose shield wall, and then they could switch ranks and keep the front line fresh, right? So what we should be seeing here, and what I think would make this game stand out from the others instead of just having the basic combat that we've had, is the shield wall, which would be basically a giant moving tank of men, lower, mid, and high shields together. So you have the three different ranks of guys, and they stab at each other through the shield wall. And there's different formations of that. There's one where it's shaped like an arrow, and you try to break someone's shield wall in the middle, and so you could have your own tactics. I was really hoping to see a better representation of the way fighting is, since this game is so specific to these two cultures who fought like that. So I'm a little disappointed by this. They're just running into each other like it's Hollywood, and that's just not how they fought. And I'm a little I hope that's just trailer, but I have a feeling that it's not.
I have been patient, Lord.
So we get some cool looks at the units. Nothing really special here.
What broke?
I do want to say here,
And
again, looks a lot like Attila. I do look forward to having real siege battles again. I like this bridge. It looks like there might be two parts of the settlement here, so that offers all kinds of different ways of defending and attacking, especially if there's multiple bridges in different settlements. So that could be pretty cool if there's rivers running through, and we've got these choke points with towers. I can't wait to have proper siege fights again, to be completely honest. That looks great. Not too much else in this trailer. There's Alfred. Now, what's cool, what I'm hoping, what we know they're going to do is bring in the sort of the quests, the storyline that Warhammer has, which is one of the best kind of additions to the Total War formula ever. And I'm so excited to see those being added into the historical entries. That's going to be something that's really exciting. But just look at the combat. I mean, you guys, aren't you tired of the same old thing? Yeah, they're just stabbing each other. Oh, stab. I mean, I want to see something different, because this is supposed to be a different game. This is not a DLC. So I hope that this is just sort of showing us some cool action against blue versus red, and just getting us pumped.
Tis the kingdom of Wessex.
Let's see a routing unit here. The whole unit routes as you always. I would have preferred, shield wall. You don't have communication in the front, the back. So the back guys start running away. Like, fuck this. I don't want to be any part of this shit. I'm out of here. These guys are getting slaughtered, and so you start to trickle away. And maybe you could have, there, there's the health bar. Well, maybe you could have like a morale bar, and as the morale bar goes down, you actually lose a couple of units at a time, and then they can come back and start helping again. I don't know, just add something, add some spice, add some variety, something that makes Thrones of Britannia unique, unlike any other game in the series. That's what I'm hoping we do that.
And my...
So the other thing I'd like to see, the Vikings and the Saxons would travel up the rivers in their longboats. These are not big giant galleons that can only float on the ocean. So I really hope that we can take advantage of that kind of mobility. Put an army on a boat and sail them up these rivers all over the place and be able to attack cities right from the rivers. A whole new way of sieging where you have longboats that just, boom, they just come up onto the, in a shock attack, and they just come up onto the beach of a river, on a riverbank, and the guys just pour out and attack. I mean, I think that would be a really, really cool mechanic. Again, making the game feel different and unique to the time period. Also, Alfred built burghs, Burghs, all across southern England, Wessex. It's kind of the campaign map. So this is Wessex down here, the southern part of England. And he built... He would turn small villages into these like little mini fortresses, and he would use the natural landscape to create different kinds of fortresses all across Wessex. And he would hole up all the goods and food and gold and everything, silver and everything, into these burghs, and then fill them up with soldiers who could also work the land. And that made it so that the Vikings didn't have easy pickings. They couldn't come down and just flash raid a church in a village and destroy it and take everything and run away. There was walled burghs with armed men and archers, and it made it very difficult, and it kind of created a stalemate. So I hope we get these kinds of things. I want to see these time-specific moments.
Rule.
That music, though. That music. Love the music. If you guys want to check out the Steam page real quick, I've got it pulled up. There's some stuff here, quite a bit. We can read some more. I read through this. So there's a few different things. Obviously, explore the isles. So there's, it's going to be a close-up, highly detailed map of Britain. So from the snowy highlands of Scotland to the orchards and meadows of Kent, which is southern England, push back the fog of war and unveil the extent of Anglo-Saxon Britain. So it'll be really cool to see all the different, you still have the Britons themselves and the Scots and the Irish, hopefully. So lots of different, of course, the Danes and the Wessex and all of that. So it's going to be really cool to see the different factions and cultures and units that they have. I'm just a little concerned still. Just because I'm trying to find things that are making this unique to the time period. This is one that's interesting. Anglo-Saxon times, the fyrd or feared was a form of conscripted army composed of self-armed, armored freemen, kind of like a militia, called upon to defend their lands when the need arose. One of Alfred the Great's many reforms was to better formalize the system, ensuring wealthy landowners contributed men and materials. So, yes, that would be really cool if you had armed militia units that you had to call up at a moment's notice, like Minutemen of Wessex, right? That would be pretty cool. The Witten Assembly of Governors, which meets to discuss the future prospects of Wessex. So they're actually going to be using the older names, the true names, not the adapted ones, which is pretty cool. But again, I just don't know. I mean, they always add little things like this, and they sound really good. And then you get there, and it's like, oh, it's just a slight tweak on something we already had. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm generally pretty positive with Total War. I'm gonna buy this game. I mean, definitely, I want to play it. I'm always looking forward to new historical entries. But This one made me excited. So the Grand Campaign offers multiple routes to a glorious victory. Aggressively expand your territory through force of arms, acquire renown through construction, advanced technology and influence, or complete a series of unique objectives based on your chosen faction's history. So this makes me sound like they're kind of adding some civilization elements, which is that military conquest is not the only way to win, which would be such a nice refinement of the formula. And I really hope that that is more in depth than I'm even thinking right now. That could be a really nice way to shake up the formula. So I hope that's something we see. And once completed, steady yourself for a significant late game challenge and the final ultimate victory conditions. So you kind of have different stages to victory, sort of like the Vortex campaign of Warhammer. As long as it's not timed, I'm not a big fan of being timed. That sounds really fun. It's not too much else in this. Obviously, more information will come as we don't have price yet. We just know it's 2018, so no dates or price or anything. But we are getting closer. I am excited for this. I was a little disappointed with the way this combat looks. This is absolutely not a proper representation. Not that Total War is always historically accurate. Gameplay demands that it's fun before it's accurate, and I am absolutely okay with that. But I don't think this is the only way to enjoy Total War combat. I would like to see something a little more akin to the style, just to differentiate the game more from Attila. So we'll see. Again, this could just be, I don't know, it could just be what they're showing us. I really have a feeling that it's not going to, we'll see. We'll just keep it at that. Hey guys, I really appreciate you joining me. Are you excited about this? Is this a game that you're thinking about picking up? Do you play Total War? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this trailer and that beautiful music. And let me know what you guys are thinking. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Later, guys.